In teaching on Jeremiah 29 last Sunday, we talked a lot about the word exiles and the fact that we are today not at home in this world, in this nation. We are living in between. We are stuck here. We have responsibilities here, but our home is somewhere else. And so we talked about this reality a great deal from Jeremiah 29 and how it applies to us in our understanding of citizenship here in the United States, our lives here. So this question came in with reference to those themes. I'm torn between understanding that the Lord is in control of all and that he wants our devotion versus other verses that talk about his people defending the weak, acting justly, pursuing justice. What is our role in society to actively defend the weak while recognizing that the Lord is sovereign in all that happens? Very important question. And the questioner says he or she is torn. So am I. I feel this tension between our responsibilities to act positively in our society in a way that makes things better, that makes our society better. And how do we acknowledge that role that we have as believers, while at the same time understanding that this is not our home, that there is a kind of deception in imagining that we can bring the kingdom of God about here in this world. The kingdom of God is not going to happen through our activism in this world. The kingdom of God is coming through the power and sovereignty of Jesus Christ. So these two realities are very much in tension. Let me give you some approaches that I use to think about these issues. One, we are like the nation of Israel in that we have a great deal of freedom. Israel, as it was constructed by God under the law, as it was constituted, had a lot of freedom and autonomy. And every citizen of Israel was a legal actor, an economic actor, and there was a great deal of bottom-up responsibility for the quality of life in the community. It's probably too loose to say that Israel was a free society, but in its context of the ancient Near East, there was a great deal of liberty for the average person. And so these commands in the law: care for the oppressed, take care of the sojourner, the Lord is on the side of the widow and the orphan, take care of them. These kinds of commands are given to everyone in that society, not just the government. So there is an important commonality that we have with the nation of Israel, in that we as Americans, as our nation is constituted, we are the source of all governing law. We're the ones who voted in legislatures and governors and congresspeople and presidents and all of that stuff. It's all flowing from our corporate decision making. And we have, even compared with the rest of the world today, a tremendous amount of liberty to act locally in our culture and make things better around us. Okay, so what does that mean in application in Israel? What it meant was, you've got some land, use it. Use it rightly. When you harvest your field, leave the corners, leave the edges, so that the poor in your area can come and glean from your field. Don't pick up every last bit of fruit and grain from your field. Leave some of it so that people can come in who have need and they can harvest the remainder. Use your field rightly. When you hire somebody, treat them right, and make sure that you pay them appropriately, and make sure that you pay on time. Don't make him beg for his wages. Treat him right, and so you go right down the line. When you have orphans and widows in your family, take care of them. Meet their needs. It is the New Testament says somebody who doesn't do that with their own family is worse than an infidel. And so these responsibilities are laid upon everyone in the society, and they transfer to us. They are local. They are tied to the resources you have. As you conduct business in your city, do it right. Make sure that with your resources and everything under your power, that you are preserving and protecting the rights of those who are vulnerable around you. Now, let me draw a sharp distinction between that mindset and what, for lack of a better term, I'll call activism. Activism is taking someone else's resources and applying somebody else's resources to somebody else's rights and calling it defending the vulnerable. And I think this is pretty suspect. I think we are easily caught off track, led off track with that kind of activism. I'll tell you why. It's very easy to tell other people what to do with their resources. It's very easy to get all worked up about something that's going on in another part of our nation or another part of the world. It is exceedingly difficult to change a local community. Very hard. It takes sustained, concentrated, and imaginative effort. It takes enterprise. It takes money. And it takes some guts. You got to stand up against people locally who can potentially do harm to you if they take a mind to do that. That's hard. Getting worked up about an issue is easy. Changing your local society is hard. And so my exhortation is this. Let's focus locally on what's happening right around us. And let's focus on things like our role in preserving public safety, our role in caring for the elderly, our role in making sure that our streets and shopping areas and places of business are safe, and the people who come there to do business and to work together are not under threat. That's all of our responsibility. Let's take responsibility for the fact that our streets and our city needs to be clean. Let's take responsibility for the litter and refuse that we bring to a public park or a city street. Let's take care of it. Let's take responsibility for the people in our church and the people in our families. Those who are vulnerable, connected with our body, deserve our special and unique focus. And I'm putting it in these terms because those are the biblical terms when we speak of caring for the weak and the vulnerable. The Lord is not telling Israel, care for the people in Egypt or Phoenicia. He's not telling the Israelites to make those Babylonians do the right thing. He's telling the Israelites, you've got land, you've got resources, use it right. Protect the people around you. And so this is one way that I think about these responsibilities. And doing these kinds of specific and local things, these are much harder than doing the difficult, the things of attacking an issue that affects the whole nation. Let me put it differently. Look at any great social movement in American history. It always starts locally. Always. You can find lots of examples of people agitating for social change on Twitter. You can find, social media activism. You can go back in American history to protests and demonstrations and all of these kinds of things. And what do those things really produce? Nothing. Very little. Lives do not change because people go out in the streets and protest. Lives change when citizens take responsibility for their town. So, I think an examination of history is very important in this, in addition to an examination of the scriptures. So, some concrete examples of this. We do not spend a lot of time talking about, let's say, abortion as an issue. We spend very little time talking about that as kind of a national problem or an international problem. What we do spend time on, and urge you to spend time on, is abortion as it affects our community here in Cortland, Ithaca, and this region. And so we spend a lot of time and money with Finger Lakes pregnancy care. And we want to engage in that kind of local action because it's part of our local witness and it's part of who we are here. So you'll find our youth group on a different issue, going and serving meals to homeless people. You will find our body caring for the poor and vulnerable in our body and making sure that their needs are met. And I can tell you that our people are very active in this, both with their own resources and in urging that the church devote resources through our fellowship fund and giving to the fellowship fund and all of these kinds of things. People are very active with this. And so I would say there's really not a problem with these two issues, the sovereignty of God versus doing good and on behalf of the vulnerable around us. I see them really as one issue. Use your resources to do good in defending the vulnerable around you. Trust God with America and the world. Those who are active as citizens in their own place effect potentially great social change. Because that's the kind of country we are. We're a bottom-up country. And it's easy to forget that. It's easy to lose sight of that. So those are some thoughts on this very difficult issue, probably unpopular thoughts. I could probably score a lot of points by saying, get out there and protest and get riled up about this issue or that issue. Show me the change. And then maybe let's talk about some of those bigger issues. I don't see it. I see a lot of noise. I see a lot of hostility. I see the hostility and noise growing. I don't see change. You want to see change? Let's work locally. Those are some thoughts about that very important issue. Thanks for the question.